I gotta join with my iPad so I can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Zoom in a little bit.
Oh man, I can't zoom in.
Oh, you can't zoom in. Okay, can I zoom in? I can't zoom in. Okay, so do you not understand this? Let's go through it. Man, I can't zoom in. That sucks. Okay.
Let me download it, man. So
Oh,
maybe
okay.
I'll zoom in. Probably better now.
Okay, so today we're gonna do two main things really is well, three things here. We're gonna talk about productivity and creativity as one thing. We're gonna go through this content a bit, and then after that we'll continue with essay stuff, right? But okay, so I got you on my iPad, right? So I can see everything here. All right, so it says in Appendix A, two variable regression analysis, the problem of estimation. Okay, so the goal is estimating, right? Two methods of estimation, ordinary least squares, OLS, and maximum likelihood, ML. Okay, do you know what OLS and ML are?
Nah.
Ordinary least squares. Ordinary least squares are just basically where if I got this here and then maybe 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, is that both of these have 2 squared as an ordinary least square. Does that make sense?
Oh, makes sense. So
Okay.
they have the same. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. It's simple. It's just like GCF or LCF, you know, from long time ago, you know? That's like what's the greatest common factor, lowest common factor, that kind of thing, right? Okay, maximum likelihood, that's just your probability. That's going to be a percentage or a fraction, right? By and large, it is the method of OLS that is used extensively in regression analysis, primarily because it is intuitively appealing and mathematically much simpler than the method of maximum likelihood. Okay, so first of all, what's regression?
What's that?
Huh?
What was my what?
Can you tell me what is regression?
Oh, regression is like decrease.
Yeah.
Right.
So can you give me a case of regression?
Thailand is regression right now.
And then econ regression. I guess, yeah, that's an okay example. That would be where over time the economy is at a certain level and then it starts to go down like this, right?
Mhm.
That would be a true regression, right? Because like it's the opposite of progression, right? All right, so the opposite of progression is that progress involves a lot of steps, yes?
Yep.
All right, same thing with regression now, right? That's the key difference. If it just goes like boom, 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 like this, that's not regression, okay? Okay, so it has to be a series of steps. And then this is just the guy, the dork saying that like, oh, this is way easier in the math, right? Because it's just ordinary least squares, which is a depreciating value, okay? But do you understand why this analysis is also flawed?
Why?
It's that you can't say something is going to evenly go down. That doesn't happen in real life.
So you can't predict that.
Nor does it go like this in a perfect curve exponentially. It doesn't do that either. Right? Well, it depends, I guess, on macro view. It could kind of sort of look like this maybe, but not like 100% of the time.
I pretty sucks with macro, man.
No,
I'm
it's
okay.
just, no, dude, don't look at it that way. It's just going to be where this time in your education is like starting to learn how to apply these mathematical structures in your mind to these
And
kinds of problems and thinking.
I learned this morning and I fell asleep. It's that boring, man.
Yeah, you're getting distracted even right now, you know? Okay, so we have here regression analysis. You know what it is, and it's intuitively appealing and it's simpler than the maximum likelihood, right? So let's go through the formula here, the PRF. The PRF here is a Y value, B1 plus B1 XY, XI. And then what is this? Is this VI?
I think it's UI.
UI. Okay, what is the Y?
Maybe national income. I don't know.
Huh? National income?
I mean, for macro is Y for national income. I'm not sure.
Here, I'll give you a case, okay? All right. There are 125 districts
Hmm.
for Toastmasters, okay? All right.
Mhm.
Okay. There are about 300K members. All right. And each one of them have been paying about,
So this is about
well,
wage.
huh?
This is about wage, right?
No, this is a club. Toastmasters is the nonprofit public speaking club. Okay. So can you do some math for me? Can you do some math for me?
So like 300K members, right?
Well, right now it's 300. So I want to cut that in half, right? I want to cut that in half for 97 years, just like to make our math easy.
$12 per month, right?
Huh?
$12 per month
Yeah, $12 per month for 97 years.
for 97 years. Okay.
And then give me that dollar amount.
To let me 2 millions 95,200 millions. I mean, no. Just put like 100 there.
It's okay. It's about 3 million. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's about 3 million bucks. All right, so 3 million bucks in there. All
I mean,
right.
I just put 150K in the 100 without like 000. So you can add like more 30.
Wait. Is it 300 million?
Um, let me again. 12 plus 97 plus 12. Yes, it's about it's 20. It's
Practice your numbers, bro.
here.
Let me see here. 20952 and then 5 zeros.
Yep. Because you
Damn, that's 2 billion bucks. Okay, that's 2 billion bucks. Okay, 2 billion USD. Wow, that's a lot of money. Holy moly. Okay, all right. Now the next math I need is going to be 300,000 times 1,000 baht. And then that's like what, 33 USD? This is a one-time membership fee.
300 million. Yes.
It's 200 million. Okay, all right. So we're at about 2.2 billion USD. Okay. All right. So this is a nonprofit, okay? This is a nonprofit here, right? Now, we're just rounding numbers here, but let's just say that they got 2.2 billion, all right? Now, interestingly enough, man, all right, is that I just got data on this. I just got data on this company because I became, or nonprofit, because I became secretary of my club, right? We have to get like 7 or 9 more members, and then everything's like all good. But I just want to show you something here, right? Is it raining at your house?
Nope.
No.
A little bit, but yeah.
All right. So this is my club, okay? All right. We need to get 8 more clubs or five new members in 6 months. Okay.
How many
Clear?
you have? 12?
12, yes. All right. And then there's like a bunch in Thailand. They're all part of District 97. Okay.
Mm.
Clear? Clear?
Clear.
Okay. All right. Next point after that is going to be, this is District 1, right? And one of the clubs in District
Oh.
1 is the Google LA Toastmasters, as well as the basketball team, Portland Trailblazers. Okay.
Damn.
All right. So I can get their contact information and I can get the Zoom ID and I can go and jump into the meeting within like a week or two. All right. Now, look at this number right here. This is going to be growth. Okay. So the way that it's set up, right, is that everybody pays their dues twice a year. Okay.
Right.
So that means that 10% of it, or 50% of this, right, is normal, right? Because that'll be balanced out when everybody pays their dues again. Okay. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So it means that it's technically decreasing by 6% every year based on this data. Okay.
Decrease by what?
It's basically that this fund, right, the 2.2 billion baht that is part of this category for District 1 is going down by 6% per year.
Okay.
Right. And that would be an example of regression. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So now we also can, if we want, get that number for every district in the world. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And so I'm just going to run through like 10 real fast. Right.
For this number district.
It's
Like
the number
average.
right here. Yeah, the number right here. Okay. So in my brain, I remove the 50% because I understand the system that members pay their dues twice a year.
Yep.
Right. And if they pay twice a year, that means that the next time they pay this year, the 50% will disappear. Okay. That's technically how it's supposed to work. In reality, it would be people paying their dues and then collecting it and then making that financial report at the end of the year by the system. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is District 3, right? Minus 52%, 0.68. District 4, minus 58.91%. District 5, minus 55.3%. 03. District 13, minus 55.87%. So what that means, huh?
What is your district?
District is a collection of Toastmasters clubs made up of 20 members plus minus 10.
Oh, so how many members in this district?
How many are in this district of Thailand?
I mean, this one.
I think Thailand is split up into 2 districts, District 13 and District 97, right? And there are like 10 clubs or something, 20 clubs maybe, right? There's a church club, there's a Thai Airways club, there's a golf club, and they're all like little Toastmasters, public speaking and leadership clubs.
Oh.
Right. And that's where all this data comes from. Got it?
I should form a sneaker club.
Yeah, dude. Or you should join this and promote your sneaker club.
What?
Right? Yeah, dude. Like
I joined a sneaker podcast before, and I mean the quality is kind of small, and yeah, nobody want to really share the memories on knowledge. They just want to like just talk. I have no ideas.
I hear you. Yeah. That's a lot of these people, but right now we're looking at regression analysis, bro. You know,
Yeah.
So like, District 97 is the one in Thailand, right? Which is like 10 clubs or 20 clubs or something. Right?
What is your top name?
My club is called Lam Tong Toastmasters Club.
What does that mean?
It's an area. It's an area in Thailand, right? Yeah. Lam Tong or some shit. Yeah.
So
But
Bangkok
so
United National Nation Toastmaster.
yeah, there's a
Bangkok
Bangkok
Band
club and everything. Yeah.
Toastmaster.
There's a
The
lot,
first
dude. Yeah,
Thai-
yeah.
Did they even have like, oh man, I'm the first Thai Toastmaster club.
Yeah, see, right? Yeah. So it's where,
International.
oh, see, this is my club right here, right?
Uh,
And
so
so yeah.
so,
And then this is the church club, and then yeah. So you can visit any one of these, dude. That's the thing that's really cool. Right?
LAC Toastmaster Club. Fun
Yeah,
for Friday.
World Public Speaking Championship 2014. So this organization is the one that organizes this event, right? So now, just again, we're paying attention to the math here, right? So the guy that trained me, he said that, oh, so actually in Asia, Toastmasters is booming because lots of people, well, I said because lots of people, they see a need for being able to speak out, right? So it's very interesting. If you look at Florida, right? The floor, this is 42.78% growth, right? So that means that at the end of the year, this club fund will be up by 7.22% ish, right? That's the projection. Okay. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah. Okay.
They another 50s.
Correct. And then you have like Florida, America, Silicon Valley. I think this one's Silicon Valley, right? But and then this one would be down, right? So that would be a max.
Then.
Yeah, it would be a difference of like almost 14% range, right? 14% range there. So what's fascinating about that, right, is going to be that, man, somebody's managing that 2 billion bucks, right? And like it's where right now the costs are almost nothing by Zoom for the last couple of years. So it's an interesting analysis because on one side you see that it's regressing, right? So that means that the fund is getting lower, right? However, if new members go, right, new members join, and then it hits a number less than 50%, then that means the fund is growing, right?
Yep.
Okay, then they don't have any events that they have to pay for. Somebody already made the website and they're already tracking all that stuff. So who's managing that 2 billion bucks, right? Now, the reality, right? The reality is that it's sitting in a bunch of accounts across various treasurers all throughout the world in all of these clubs. So each club has its own treasurer, right? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Right. And then some organization of club officers or whatever, they end up making transfers to like one big group, I think. I think that's pretty much how it goes. Let me show you that metric, right? So I can see the financials for every group, dude. It's nuts. All right. Okay. It's crazy. And I just joined like I've only been to like 6 meetings. Okay.
Oh.
And I can export everything to an Excel sheet.
You only like join a meeting in Thailand, right? For now.
I am a part of the club and I am a secretary of my club now. Yeah.
It's your owner of a club or like just so you're not form a club, right? Just
I didn't
join them.
form a club. You can if you want, right? But yeah, it's like 20. Like, okay, look at this. This is all the deposits from the treasurer. You see? Right. And then I think this is where they transfer to the Toastmasters main bank account. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. And then this money is all
This
the
is
money
club,
that,
right?
huh?
This is your club, right?
Yes. And then this is the treasurer, right? But I think I can check it for even other clubs. No, wait. Maybe I can't check it from other clubs. Yeah, but anyways, everybody transfers in Thai baht to this person, and I think they transfer in USD to this. I wonder what this person is doing. I'm gonna try to become the treasurer later, right? That's gonna be the next step for me, right? But like, I think it would be fascinating to be able to like invest let's say like $1 million of Toastmasters money, and then make gains on it, pay taxes, help the nonprofit, and then like do a bunch of stuff with it. That's nuts for me, right? That's really fascinating, right? So the regression analysis, when we look at that, is going to be that it's easier for them to use the ordinary least squares, the OLS, right? To predict that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, all right. And then the other one, what was the other one? It was like maximum likelihood, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so maximum likelihood, they said it's harder. Like, and then just using your logic, it's harder. Like the reason it's harder is because it's a projection, right?
Yep.
That's your first step. Projections are harder than like looking at the past, obviously, that would be one, right? The other one is that regression is still, I guess, a progression as well, but it's an expected regression because it's mathematical, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, maximum likelihood of the Toastmasters Fund as of today, increasing beyond a regression model, right? No, pretty low, but you give it to me. And if I were managing $2 billion of Toastmasters money, I bet in a year I could show some crazy returns on it. And that would be, you would have to calculate the maximum likelihood of that. And that would be hard to calculate.
Maximum likelihood is mean like what you can profit max, like what is your maximum profit, right? Prediction.
I'd say yes and no. I would say yes, and I agree with you, and no, where it would be the maximum likelihood of a certain outcome.
Okay.
You see, right? And then that outcome is a variable depending on whatever you set. Clear?
Clear.
Yeah. But that could be wrong, right? Like we got to look at the PPT and stuff, But I always look at, there's a lot of value to learning this kind of thing for the real world. Like I kind of naturally started looking at the world in this way just because of how much information there was, But what they teach you in school is that what we just covered right now with this real life case study and data. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's the first concept. I hope that class was a little bit more interesting than your class. But that's a real life case. And what an interesting opportunity, right?
Yep.
Because like imagine if you were okay, like it would be totally like there would be, look at the ethical way and the unethical way. Okay, which one do you want to hear first?
Ethical way.
Okay, the ethical way would be this. It's that as a nonprofit, there is an option for you to create a portfolio for the NGO. Okay. Right. When you create a portfolio for the NGO, I would go into S&P 500 categories based on categories that were priced low right now, but expected to gain in the future, long term. And I would buy massive holdings of like Apple and Google.
Oh.
Right. And then after that, it's where those will be invested through an account like the retirement account that I showed you before, right? And then that would be subject to different taxation requirements and regulations. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So then after that, you would be trying to save as much tax as possible on capital gains tax, which is going to be once you sell any of those holdings for profit, you're taxed on any of that profit. Okay.
Okay.
And so in this case, it would be the NGO, right? So the NGO pays the taxes on that, right? And gets a percentage of the profit gains. And then that goes back into either investing back into Apple or Google or into the account connected to some of these treasurers. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That would be the ethical way to make it grow. And then after it grows, after that, there's a committee, I'm sure, that determines how to spend it because everything's built on a sustainable model, right? It's that it's been going on for 97 years. Everything they do moving forward is that it's going to go on for another 100 years. So that's something that I like about it because that's so different in the way that I make decisions. Right. And like it's where I have to like listen to that kind of logic and I'm like, okay, I see the value in that, Okay, cool. The unethical way, right? The unethical way would be that at some point a person has access to a great deal of these funds and embezzles them into cryptocurrency, therefore becoming untraceable after that. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And the unethical, ethical way, right, would be that they do that, trade, make gains, call options, everything that they can possibly do to make that paying taxes or not. After it goes from crypto into real money, it's kind of hard to track really. And then there's a way to track it still for sure. After that, it would be dumping the rest of the money back that initially was taken out. Therefore, it's still embezzlement and still punishable by law, right? But then putting it back is where they would quote unquote, some cases forgive you, right? And then whatever was profit or loss after that, I mean, if it were loss ethically, the person would have to cover it on their own with their own funds. If it were a gain, it's that ethically they would put it all back into the Toastmasters
I
fund.
mean that actually like what we call yacht stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a Thai thing too. Everybody does it, right? It's just like, I don't know, it's human nature, man, right? Like I don't like it, you know. It's like looking at
for like anybody.
Well, you know, there are two different analogies I'll use to explain it, right? One would be that you're looking at $1 million inside of a bank account that nobody's watching or touching, you know, and then you have all these business ideas and you think you can put it back, right? That's powerfully appealing to most people, right? And then the other analogy I think that's harder and more accurate actually is that you're sitting there and it's this opportunity that people think is what no people have, right? And then person has to choose between their ethics and values and like what they think it is, right? And then how smart they are in getting caught or not, you know. So that's just human nature though, man, right? Like I don't know, I always look at it where out of 100 people, right, the third and best analogy is actually more accurate. This is it. It's that it's like seeing an empty store by your house every day that sees lots of traffic and wondering what you would do with it, you know? And then it's not your store, right? And the only way for it to be your store is that you'd have to do something else.
Or to buy it.
Yeah, you got to do something, you know?
I walk past like some sneaker store every day. I know what to do about it, but I have no access to make any action.
Yeah, right. And then like one day a bag of money just like drops right next to it, you know? Right. Right. And then you know that like it's somebody's money, you know, somebody wants it for sure. Right. And then that's where present that to 100 people, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people. And then I'd want to see what the numbers say, you know? Yeah, but I guess I'm cynical, you know. I would say that if it's like 1,000 New Yorkers, okay, if it's 1,000 New Yorkers, people who born and raised in New York, right, given that chance, more than 50% would take it. You know what I'm saying?
So. I think so. You see like a bunch of money.
What would you say? What would you say if it were like 1,000 randomly selected Thais from 18 to 45 from Bangkok, born and raised in Bangkok?
What? I didn't.
1,000 born and raised in Bangkok Thais between 18 and 45. They're next to the store, and then a bag of money just drops. It's $1 million in cash.
Damn.
Like over 50% would take it, or less than 50% would take it.
More than 50%.
Maybe, right? I don't know, dude. Right?
I know a lot of my friends that that might take it and do not take it, but mostly I think we take it.
It really depends on the pool, right? It really does, you know, like where we pick them from. Like that's what, but like, okay, there's also a part of me that is prepared to be surprised now, right? Where it's like 80% of them don't take it, you know?
Because it's a lot of money, man. Maybe it's not. Maybe
yeah, well, we don't know for sure until it happens.
I mean, talking about on the floor. I mean,
but that's an interest.
I'm pretty sure 80% would take it, but if it like this, like more than more than 1 million, I think no.
That's why there's a part of me that doesn't like talking about this, because you know there's no way you can know, right? Like, okay, So ethically and morally, we could never conduct the experiment, even as psychologists, because that's playing God, right? Like, okay, so back in the day, here's one experiment. I think I told you about it once before. It's that there were people who had drug problems and psychological problems, and then they had triplets, right? So 3 kids born at the same time or close to the same time, right? They were all separated at birth on purpose by a bunch of psychologists, right, in New York City. And they studied them for like 30 years. Okay.
Study what?
Studied them, right? Studied the effects on their lives from 3 twins being separated.
Okay.
Right. So it's where you would have, like, for you, it would be like this for you. It would be that you have 2 brothers that look exactly like you, but you don't know all your life.
Okay.
Until later, when technology and news started catching up, it was that they started finding each other. Right. There's a documentary on all of this, but like, it's that it's wrong to conduct an experiment like that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
these bars.
Yeah, it's like, don't do that. Right. So like, you can only talk about it. And then that's where it comes back to like, I remain and I have hope, right? Because there are factors.
That's kind of immoral, right?
It's immoral. I would agree. Like, I would stand by it and say conducting those kinds of experiments are
I would say fuck that, man.
it's playing God, right? Like, don't play God.
Yeah, you can't do this for like someone. I mean, you heard about the Chinese kid? Ever heard story about Chinese kid that have been sold by their fathers and mom?
So, brother, oh, what? That's sad. Like,
Last
sons
week,
being sold, right?
Yeah, last week I read an article that this kid have been sold by their mothers and fathers.
Yeah.
Because they are when they're pregnant, this kid, they're still pretty young. They're still like students.
Dude, if somebody
So
stole my
they
kid,
didn't have, and the father didn't have any money to engage the woman.
yeah.
So they use the kid to sell to get the money to engage.
That's whack.
And that kid grow up, and what is tragedy is the kid that have been bought by someone, right? And like next 2 years, that house is burned, and those two fathers and stepfathers and mothers that adopt him, that bought him, die.
That sucks. Oh man, what a waste. Oh my God.
So I mean, so he need to stay with his like grandma of that family, grandma and grandpa of the family that adopt him. And later on, now, I think he is like 17 years old. He want to find his mothers and fathers again, and right now he find them. And right now, his fathers and mothers not accepted him, and scared that he's gonna break their families because they already separate.
Yeah,
they already have new families, and they didn't want him.
That's crazy, man. Like, okay, so that's just one way it all plays out, right? That's just
the
one
story
way.
is not ended, man. And right now when his mother and father not want to adopt him or like take care of him anymore, but he's still 17, man. He said, "I will see you on a court."
Damn.
But man, the sad story is, I read the news again yesterday, and I found out that he committed suicide.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's pretty horrible story, and I think this is real. I mean, he's still like university student. He pretty sucks, man. The world is
like, okay, there's this phrase in Korean, we say "ako," right? And it's it means what a waste. That's what it means, you know. Like, that's I would say that's one of, like, if somebody asked me the question, what's the most significant challenge that faces humanity today, I'd say wasted potential, right? And then go on and start talking about that. But wasted. Like I feel so horrible for that person. Like it sucks. Like that sucked. Like, and the thing I was gonna say is that it's just one way that goes down, right? So there's this word in math is called permutations. Do you know that word? Permutations.
Permutation, pretty. I think
It's gonna
I've
be
heard
hard
about.
to see, but like here, permutate. Can you see it?
Yeah, permutation.
Permutations. Yeah. So like permutations is where if you have a black and white rabbit and then they start breeding and then you have 10 generations, right? It's where you're gonna have rabbits of lots of different colors, right?
Yep.
All right. So that would be a good example of permutations. Okay. So lots of different ways. And like if you think of that being a branch, right, where it's an expanding branch of different choices. And this is also in IT called the binary tree, right? Kind of looks like this.
So it's like a family tree.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is one example of it. But like if you start looking at these key points, and then what if these things represent decisions, right?
Uh,
Like what if they represent decisions? And then or effects, right? Like the kid with that situation. There's another scenario of a kid that's he got adopted by a new family. The old family was looking for him to get him back because he had been stolen. And then the kid actually liked his new family more than going back to his old family.
oh,
All right. So the old family was just heartbroken. And the new family is like, I didn't even know he was stolen. You know, right? And like that's another permutation, you see?
I mean that is multiverse right here.
Well, see, that's the thing that I really have an issue with when it comes to this kind of thinking and work, right? It's that okay, so these days we're starting to organize more content and they're gonna start making a Thai course that we're gonna sell on Coursera.
Thai courses mean teaching Thai
Yeah, learning
for,
Thai. Yeah,
for
decode Thai.
native people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, decode Thai, right? And
Uh,
they're gonna, yeah, so they're going to, we're going to film and organize stuff for it. And like the thing that I noticed with my team is that it's very linear thinking, right? Like they want to plan step by
I
step,
mean,
10
you're teaching
videos
Thai
in a row.
for foreigners or native people,
Yeah, yeah.
or
And the end result is going to be like there's going to be about 20 minutes of Bank talking and one shot inside of the school in the living room for 20 minutes as part of the video.
oh, so back P Bank gonna teach Thai to like some Frang, right? Some
Yeah,
foreign.
and yeah. And then another lady is helping.
At first, I think about you teaching Thai to Thai
Yeah,
people, man.
yeah.
For some kid like me, because I'm pretty suck at Thai.
Well, the we have like most learners are basic, and then there's not that many intermediate. You know, I would rather focus on teaching kids like you, like Ria Roy Thai. That would be a better market for sure. You know, but
Because like
like
I'm pretty suck at Thai, man. Some word I can't even spell it. It's pretty complex. It's I'm gonna say it's more complex than English.
yeah.
Some
Well,
time.
man,
But
I'm
it,
glad I'm recording this because I gotta show this to a bank, dude. Right? Because
I mean,
like,
they didn't have grammar, man, in Thai, but in English, they didn't have Garan as well. You know,
well,
Garan.
just think about it this way, okay? All right. If I'm your mom, right? If I'm your mom and then I'm paying for English classes, right? And if there were the Thai equivalent, right? The Thai equivalent of like, yeah, by the time I'm done with None in like 5 years, he will have like Reproy proper Thai, you know? That's good, right? Because if you lose it, your kid's not gonna have it, and your grandkids, you know, right? And like hopefully your wife or somebody takes care of it, but like dang, you know, that's the natural regression, right, of language use when you think of 7,000 languages out there, right? um yeah, there's this story in the Bible. It's called the Tower of Babel, right? And like the story is where all of these humans from all over the world, they started communicating because they're going to build a tower that reaches heaven to God.
Oh, I think I heard about this one.
Yeah. And then supposedly God got pissed and then he said no, and then boom, changed all their languages, you know, and then everything was chaos. The tower didn't get built.
And to break and
Yeah. So I don't know, but like that would be one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that it's your culture and you guys should
power of
preserve it.
what? Power, right?
Huh?
Power of something.
Power of what now?
Tower of what? You say Tower of something.
Well, the power of
Tower of.
language and communication.
I mean, you talk about like mountain. The tower, build the tower. It's
Oh,
Tower of.
it's called the Tower of Babel, Babel.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the classic story. Yeah, and
ah,
then it never was built, right? Supposedly, right?
yeah, I have
Supposedly.
seen this before, and like some actually say this actually real, but no, sorry, man.
Well, it's debatable, right? Like I think there's some evidence, but I don't want to go into it today. It's just the lesson, right? And the lesson is there. And for you, it's gonna be that think about your kid and what his tie is gonna be like if you keep your tie right now, right?
Oh,
And then if your wife's tie is similar or worse, right? And what that will be, what that'll end up being like for your next generation. And I think it would be really sad that tie goes away, right?
yeah,
So
and
yeah, that's
funny
so you have
I want to
permutations.
learn,
Huh?
like, even though my English not good, I still want to learn. Not that good. I still want to learn Chinese.
Well, remember the concept of where there's a guy who he's trilingual and then they stuck him inside of an MRI, right, to check his brain activity. And they asked him about all three different languages. It was like Korean, Japanese, and English. They thought it was all happening in different areas of his brain, right? But it actually was all firing from the same similar top part of your brain, right? So what that tells you is that the language doesn't matter. It's the area of your brain that you're trying to develop to be better. And that's in both categories. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's the real deal stuff, like people can think about it in a lot of different ways, but it just kind of comes down to science. You know that from being in like school now, hopefully. Yeah. But like the other concept here is that, we're talking about linear thinking versus permutive thinking or permutation based thinking, right? So like linear thinking for the type program is that they want to follow the book, right? They want to follow the book with everything that goes. And like the end result is going to be 1 20-minute shot uninterrupted of talking, right? With no editing. And it's that,
That's a really long shot, right?
yeah, but they're going to edit it anyway, right? That's the whole thing. They're looking at editing it, but they really actually didn't realize that for the UX, it's going to be watching a guy sit there and talk for 20 minutes.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, so for 70% of the time that you focus on this and following the book, can we spend 30% of the time figuring out how we can make it a little bit more dynamic,
Sure.
right? By getting some shots and then editing them in and then using voiceover,
Sure.
right? And I had like so much reluctance to that today, dude, right? Like talking about it in the meeting right before your class. It was crazy, bro. Right. Like, so my idea was this. It was we will have one filming in the class of the Thai basic stuff, right? Pleasantries, greetings, right? And then my idea was that we go to the sunrise over by the river at the temple, right? And we catch the 20 seconds of the sun hitting the horizon line, right? And then they teach me words like sunrise, bridge, river, right? And then on the way we see somebody and I say like Saudi Kab or Wadi Kab, right? Because that's actually what they're talking, right? What the shot they want, right? The shot that they want is Bank says Wadi Kab, and then I say Wadi Kab. And he says it again, Wadi Kab, and then I say Wadi Kab, and then it's like that, right? In the school. That's what they want to do, right? And I'm like, cool, all right. We don't have to do that all the time, right? Like I would much rather be at the sunrise, get that shot, and then be like, oh, what's sunrise in Thai?
Okay. Sunrise. พระอาทิตย์ขึ้น Is that
Payatikun, right? Payatikun. Yeah, and
sunrise?
then I would just put Payatikun, boom, right? In English phonics right over it in the video when I'm editing it post, right? And then river, Nam, or yeah, anyways. So yeah, it was funny the reluctance that I observed in like doing that because the argument points were this, none, right? The argument points were it's so random, right? How does it connect to the Thai program? These were the comments that I got when I was like, oh my God, you guys are talking about making a video that's 20 minutes uninterrupted of a guy talking on the couch,
And that's quite long to like to make somebody watch.
Holy fuck, I know. You know, especially with now, right? With the fact that like from
Everything's
this phone,
so fast, man. Like everything's so fast. Like you look at some content on YouTube, man. Everything's like,
dude, okay, yes, like okay, look at my JKS gear. Okay, this is a 3-year-old iPad, right? I got lucky and financed this phone for 3 years. Okay, I got this used on a deal, right? Pretty good deal for this one, right? This screen is old and I got it in promotion for 7,000 baht, right? That computer is almost 5 years old now, right? And that's what's running all of this stuff, right? And like all of this was one day of work, kind of reorganizing crap, just being like, sometimes you have to like look at things in a different way, you know? Right. And like, I don't know, I see that there's a big difference from that kind of thing with not that much energy and effort, but just like changing perspectives, you know? Right. So like, I don't know. I mean, none, like the last time I was online with you compared to today, it's a little bit more interesting and the sound quality is better, right?
yep.
Okay. All right. So that was like mission accomplished for me, man. You know, right? And like it could be like this much better. I don't give a shit, you know, right? Like it's like whatever. I'm just doing my thing and you can't tell me what to do. But like that was the meeting today was funny. So like I'm not gonna edit this video, but I'm gonna show parts of it to Big and see what he says. Right, but I won't post it or anything. Yeah. Okay, so where you have regression analysis and maximum likelihood, I feel like you understand those two things better now. A little bit, right? Okay, cool. Let's take a quick break, bro. All right, let's take a quick break. I gotta use the bathroom, and then I'll hit you in about like 7 minutes. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
See you, man.